It is 8:41 a.m. May 23rd, 2026. Beloved, I am Starseed Commander. Take this message. We have gathered you here today to remind you of all that has been, of all that is, and all that is to be. Stand by for clearance. Recognition complete. Advancing. Eliminating negativity. Realigning frequency with highest dimensional timeline. Highest dimensional frequency. Absorbing light from the great central sun, radiating, advancing, stabilization complete, upholding universal laws of consciousness, the law of one, the universal law of one. Prime Creator, Melchizedek Starseed Program, the Elohim and Elohim, remembering the Cyclops, It is as if they have a tunnel vision. These beings are rather friendly, but they stay to themselves. Planet origin unknown. Cyclopean planet. They appear to be the dominant race on the planet, but they are not dominating. Their nature is very serene, pleasant, not primitive, but very simple. Greek myths have tapped into the Cyclops, who is depicted as a monster in Greek mythology. There's some truth there. The narrators have adjusted this frequency so that there is no conflict between our beings and their beings. Moving back into Atlantis, where these experiments occurred, as a continuation of the Orion Wars, seeking the perfect weapon, bionically, upgrading humans to bionic AI beings that would live longer and see further, but be more under the control of the Draco program. The false teachings of the Bible. Yahweh is a Draco king. Any conflicts between him and the other extraterrestrial beings misinterpreted in the Bible as gods and fallen angels. Searching the records that have been left out of the Bible. Stand by. The Book of Enoch. The Apocrypha. The Gnostic teachings. the Dead Sea Scrolls, searching the Library of Alexandria, searching the libraries of Timbuktu, searching the libraries of the ancient Maya and Inca and Aztec empires, searching the records of the Cherokee Nation, searching the records of the Inuit tribes, searching the records of the Siberians. Standby, mission complete. Gathering intel. Returning to Atlantis. The Atlantean mystery schools told the Atlantean. The guides, the kings of Atlantis. The kings of Atlantis. There was a war between the kings of Atlantis and the kings of Draco and Orion. There were infiltrators of the Orion Wars in the Atlantean Empire. The Sons of Belial, as they were referred to by Edgar Cayce. These bloodlines still exist today. These are the royal bloodlines, and many of them are no longer in royal positions or positions of public authority or power. But these bloodlines still exist, these dark bloodlines that have integrated their shadow, that are here to make things right. They are seeking retribution. It ties into the Anunnaki bloodlines as well. The Anunnakis were here before the Atlanteans and the Lemurians. They were here going back about 300,000 years or more. The Lemuria in the past 200,000 years, Atlantis within the last 100,000 years. So bringing us to the current timeline, searching for the missing records of Atlantis, which are now buried beneath the sands of North Africa and Southern Europe, the Greek Isles. It is hidden into the islands of Malta, Rhodes, and identifying Third Greek Isle. What is that Third Greek Isle? Unable to detect this third hidden isle, which is behind the intelligence of Crete and Samothrace. Knossos? Is it Gnosis? Gnosis is Crete. Stand by. Witnessing the sisterhood of Samothrace. The Cabaroi Brotherhood, the secret societies and ancient mystery schools and initiations of ancient Greece. Plato has tapped into this. advancing. There are so many wars and conflicts in ancient Greece. I believe this line is the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta. The Spartans had weapons, the Athenians had books. Guess who won? The ones with the weapons won. Gathering intel, hidden scriptures during these ancient battles in ancient Greece, hidden into Carthage, northern Africa. Bacchus is coming through. Bacchus is an ancient emperor Bacchus leading to Hannibal of Carthage. Finding connections between Hannibal of Carthage, Adolf Hitler, very strange souls overlapping timelines. Going back to Atlantis, one of the Atlantean kings is connected somehow to this dark lineage of dictators in the ancient world and the modern world. There were also good kings. Poseidon, who was often misunderstood in our legends. Poseidon or Neptune is prevalent in this frequency. The oracles of Delphi, the Pythian oracles of Apollo. There is so much activity happening in ancient Greece. It is nearly impossible to categorize it into one story. It is like a multidimensional realm within a realm, because the islands are like a chain. They're like its own constellation on Earth. And I'm trying to map these various islands that to this day are still influencing what we have come to know as Western civilization. It is actually African civilization that was replicated out of Egypt into Europe. Going deeper into Egypt, going down the Nile River, 4,000 miles into the Nile River, into the heart of the African continent. The world's first cultural highway, major cultural highway, more profound than the Tigris and the Euphrates, these river valley systems, these hidden temples along the rivers, the chakra system of the Nile River, the Jedi, secret societies and mystery schools, taken into the southern region of Europe, all the way through to Celtic Britain. This arrived through the Phoenicians and the Venetians, derived by the Vikings. This is all taken into Celtic Britain. What is happening in Celtic Britain? Stonehenge. there are records of Atlantis and Celtic Britain. There's interaction between the ancient tribes of Britain and Atlantis, Ireland, the Gaelic, records kept in the Gaelic language. Gaelic is very essential to, you're saying Gaelic is central to the Rh negative Celtic Basque bloodline. The Gaelic language is very important to these Anunnaki lineages and reptilian hybridized royal families. This must be further explored why Gaelic is so important to them, as is the Euskara, or the language of the Basques, which are primarily Rh negative bloodlines and blood types. Okay, so the story here is there were ancient royal families taken out of Orion that were divided and conquered by the Draco influencers. And there were agreements about who would be able to come in and rule planet Earth. There were already beings on Earth who were humanoid, but these beings were also interacting with inner Earth beings that were found in portals around the world, found in cave systems and island chains and river systems. They were interdimensional beings. So there were extraterrestrial beings and interdimensional beings around this Mediterranean area. In the Mediterranean area, the Mediterranean Sea is very central to the Atlantean story, because after Atlantis, there were several new Atlantises. Today we think of America as the new Atlantis, but there were new Atlantises in Egypt and Greece and the region now known as what used to be like the Yucatan and the Mayan and Aztec civilizations. Teotihuacan. I'm seeing various ancient civilizations wherever there were strong empires, ancient empires, the Inca, for instance, the ancient Chinese empires that were ruled by dragon kings and so forth. They were all central to this story. It was like Earth is a domain for these royal families who were sent here to use Earth as a sort of backup drive for much of the intelligence that was lost on their home planets or in their home star systems. And so much of this was taken underground, and only initiates had access to these records. And there was one book pushed forward for the masses, and there were several books taken underground for the elite, for the royal families and the high society figures of these cultures that actually knew the real story behind these religious beliefs that were pushed on the masses. They had access to the actual historical data, which is now hidden in places like the Vatican and museums, places where it's sort of been masqueraded as a historical site or library, but these are actually based over ancient temples, ancient fortresses, where a lot of this information was stored during the Atlantean Empire, which actually was a global empire, and it ruled during a very long time period. And it had many, it appears to be, they had many phases of their height. Like they didn't start at the height. They actually started off rather at a low point, and then they raised their civilization to the height. And then there were wars and cataclysms, and they knew they wanted to rebuild. And so they rebuilt around the world between what are the 30th degree parallels above and below the equator. And you can follow this in many of the works of the metaphysical studies that have been done around the world around these serpent clans and myths and civilizations that have been influenced by this. But there is something there, not just in the culture, but in the bloodlines of those found in these regions. And there's a lot of enhanced UFO activity and paranormal activity in this region of the globe. So there's a connection there, and that's because the world went out of balance after Atlantis, and it has been struggling to regain that level of society, of civilizational progress since the fall of Atlantis. It has been like trying to catch up to ancient knowledge. And this is being reflected around the world. This is being reflected in all of our ancient cultures, and anyone drawn to these ancient cultures are drawn to them for a reason. They are remembering their past life work. They are remembering their lineage, and they are also remembering the work of that they have contributed to, where they may not be of biological lineage, but they are spiritual children of these lineages. There is a reason they are corresponding to these ancient teachings. So that is the clue there. Whatever region of the world you are drawn to that appears to be foreign, but it is more familiar to you than what you are experiencing now, that is an indication that you've had a past life in that region or a connection there, either through your biological lineage or your spiritual lineage. However, there were many mystery schools in the times of Atlantis and in the ancient world, and they traveled all over the world. It wasn't like it took them till 1492 to find the other side of the planet. They were already traveling all over the globe prior to 1492. What happened in 1492 is the establishment of this domain of these royal families that wanted to divide and conquer the Americas, and later go back and divide and conquer Africa and Asia and so on. So that's what we're seeing. And the reason why Greece keeps coming through is because much of the ancient technology in Atlantis was stored in islands. There's something very powerful about islands in these technologically advanced civilizations. Continents were important too, but for some reason they were more drawn to islands because they had more privacy, they had more isolation, they were able to carry out experiments more privately on these islands. So you would have islands actually with Minotaur, which were Atlantean experiments brought into, like, for instance, the Isle of Crete. And then it took on more of a symbolic meaning over the years, over the ages, where initiates would tap into that frequency that once existed there, and so on. You would see various centaur, you would see, anyway, any mythological figures. You would find these beings in these various island locations where they did exist at one point or another. And we have been taught to dismiss myth as legend or fiction, but the lore exists for a reason, and there are often mysteries hidden in these mythical tales, these mythological tales. They hold the keys that connect these tribes to the stars, to the ancient civilizations that ruled on Earth, and to the future of these tribes. So there is a very important reason why the alphabet emerged in these regions, the phonics or the Phoenician alphabet. Okay, so everything that we are gathering in this Mediterranean region, it influenced the globe. We're not saying that other civilizations were any more or less important. We're just saying that this region was the focal point for what emerged out of Atlantis, and that there were many difficult lessons learned, and they have been played out karmically in Egypt, Greece, and Rome, and taken into the European capitals that influenced this current global structure of what we're seeing on the world now. What we're seeing on the world stage now are the mini epics that are reflecting the multiple epics of the planet. So there were mini battles reflecting the epic battles. Okay, and so we have a lot of connections here. And this is why the ancestors held on so dearly to their pantheons, whether it was the Orishas or the Titans or the Olympians or the pantheons of the various tribes, okay, the gods of each tribe that corresponded to certain days of the week, certain planets, certain months, and so on, certain seasons, certain elements, earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. There were correspondences there. And these can be found in magical almanacs. They can be found in various Wiccan almanacs as to what corresponds to, which deities correspond to other deities from other tribes and so on. But every tribe had a system in place, a magic system in place that connected them to the divine, connected them to their lineages. And these weren't simply metaphorical gods. These were actually living beings. These were entities masquerading as gods because they lived longer or had more advancements that put them in advantageous positions among human societies that were less developed. And so they were mistaken for gods. And their lineages have passed this on to this day. They are believed to have the royal right to rule by divine rule. So this must be further explored as well. We are also picking up the Akashic Records, the Akashic Library, which is taking many forms in these various mystery schools and magic systems that exist. The Enochian keys is coming through, the keys of Enoch. The Enochian symbols or language that was considered the language of extraterrestrials. Okay, so that's coming through. But it was considered the language of the fallen angels, for instance. So there's various things that will need to be further explored and will be brought more and more to light in the coming generations this will be revealed to those who are ready for it when the time is right for them to discover it. And that is the beauty here of the mysteries. They are only revealed to those who are ready for them to be revealed. It is not for everyone. It is not for the masses. Not everyone's going to wake up at the same time, but there's going to be waves of awakened beings, and they will assist with the next wave and the next wave and so on. It's not like it's just everyone is suddenly omnipresent and omniversal and understands everything and it's all knowing and all powerful all at once. There is always more work to be done. There is always more evolution, that is available. It is a infinite path to greater awakenings. Life does not just magically become easier for you simply because you have a bit more knowledge than others about certain things. You still have to walk the path and adhere to whatever rules of your dimension you are in, but you do have this advancement. You do have this position where you can see a bit further down the path than others. And so this is what part of the awakening process is about. And much of these clues are coming through like pieces to a puzzle. And we are still trying to piece the puzzle together. It's like I am looking at a mosaic floor in ancient Greece, how the mosaic tiles were simply just tiles, and then they painted over them whatever image. It wasn't like they had to go in and piece together the puzzle. They had already just had the tiles pretty much all the same size, and they painted over the tiles. And so we're trying to piece back together the tiles of this historic, multi-dimensional, overlapping history that we are learning, that lower dimensional entities and lower dimensional frequencies, we're experiencing things that are a bit different from what other dimensions were experiencing at the time. It is just like today. We are all living in a certain age. However, we are having various experiences depending on where we are geographically, depending on where we are in our age or our demographic groups. We are all experiencing life differently, even though we are living in what is perceived to be a shared timeline. It is very different for everybody, but there is one universal truth, that we are all one, and that the story reveals itself to us in many forms. And it isn't until we are ready to say, okay, and what now, that more will be revealed. So I'm going to close and try to piece this together. Thank you so much for the guidance here today, and for revealing to us the coordinates of Atlantis with the ancient civilizations around the world, and the influence of the Draco Orion Empire on Atlantis, as well as the more positive beings who have tried to make things right, including the lineages of the Anunnaki, the lineages of many of the royal families that have reached a pinnacle and have decided that it is time for change. It is time for us to come back together and understand the mysteries on a much grander scale, and embrace the ultimate truth, the universal truth, that we are all one. And there is only love, and so it is. Beloved, I am Starseed Commander Anuanna, end transmission.